皆さんこんにちは。
Hello everyone.
株式会社
Hello.
STINGS の本田博樹と申します。
My name is Hiroki Honda with STINGS. Nice to meet you all.
今日は、新しいカルチャーを作ることについて、
So what it takes to create a new culture. Let me share my thoughts on this topic.
その前に、少しだけ自己
Well,
紹介を
before getting into the subject, I'd like to introduce
僕は
myself.
元々大学に7年間通っていたんですが、
Well, I spent 7 years to graduate my college. For the first 3 years, I was actually having good time at Music Lighthouse.
マネージャーとかプロデューサーみたいなことを
Well,
やりながら、
I was doing more like a manager's job or producer's jobs for many kinds of music bands. And then when I became the fourth grade of university, I started to think what I should do in the
や
future.
ってみようかなっていうふうに思ったのが、ゲーム
And
会
then
社で
what
した。
came to my mind is developing games.
株式会社 STINGS と一緒に創業した吉崎と
So the co-founder of Sting, Mr. Yoshida, and myself used to develop games. And then after graduating university, I joined a game company and I was developing games.
でそういった経験をもとに創業したのが
So that's my background.
STINGS です。
And then I founded the company called STINGS.
考えているそういうものを作るっていうことは結構
So about manufacturing goods, I think the roots goes back to music and games.
で、STINGS じゃあ一体どういうことをやっているのか、
So what does STINGS
とい
do?
う話
What
なん
is
ですけれ
STINGS?
ども、今僕らがやっているのはコミュニケーションを作る仕事で
What
す。
we do is basically creating communication.
キャラクター
We
が
are a communicator. And the first character we developed is
いた。この
the one that you saw the video. This is Yassa-chan. This is a character,
でご覧の通り
Yassa-chan.
結構
And as you can
シ
see,
ンプルなイラ
it's
ストで
pretty
描いた
simple.
キャラクターなので、
This is illustration.
見方によってはですね、
So you may
見方によって
think
は簡単に描きそうに見えてしまうとか、
this is kind of simple
大
to
したことな
draw.
いんじゃないかみたいな思われてしま
You
う
may
ことも
think this is
結構あ
nothing
るんですけど、
special.
僕らとしてはいろいろと考えて、試行錯誤し
We
ながらやってお
went through
ります。
trials and errors. This is a well-thought
で、STINGS っていうの
character
は
that we
そういう
created.
日本人が昔から得意にしていたキャラクター産業っていうの
And
を
Japan has a very strong character industry. So we decided to take a new challenge on this industry in terms of business model.
ということになります。
What we do is basically D2C business. We are characters, D2C business.
もしかしたらご存知ない方もこの中に
Well,
いらっしゃ
some
る
of
かな
you may not be familiar with D2C. So let me briefly explain what that is.
中間業者であったりとか、小売店
Well, basically there are no middlemen,
自分たちで
no
企画して
wholesalers or
商
retailers.
品を直接
You
お
create
客さんに販売するという
characters or products by yourself and sell those to end
それが
users by
に
yourself.
わかに注目を集めており
So
まして
D2C, I believe, has begun to attract
やっているん
attention.
ですけれども、
So that's what we
なん
do.
ていうんですかね、こう、D2C っていうと結構
But
新しい
when it comes
や
to
り方みたい
D2C,
な感じが
you may think this is
商品を作ってそれをお客さんに売るっていう
But basically, what we do is to develop products and sell those
今
to
に始まったことじゃない
users,
というか、
customers.
昔からいろんな
So
人が
that's
やっ
what
ていた
many people have been doing over the years.
思っております。そんなわけで、僕は結構
So
いろんな昔の日本の会社とか日本の
Well, there
クリエイ
are
ティブ産業みたいな
Japanese traditional companies and the creative industry. I do respect them. So I used to develop games. So
世界観の作り方であったり
Nintendo, Sega's world of games
作り方であったりとか
and games development
しながらやっております。
is something that I really respect and look
ま
up
た
to.
僕は漫画が結構好きなんですけれども、
And I like
少年ジャン
manga,
プとか少年マガジンみたいな
like Shonen Jump, Shonen
育って
Magazine.
きましたので、集英社や小学館みたいな
I used to read them when I was little.
させていただいております。
So I also study Shueisha, Shogakukan, and other publishers. And as we develop characters, I also refer to Sanrio, another character developing company in Japan. Having said that, so we create characters. So I think we have to beat predecessors. In other words, I like to try something new, develop something new that no one has done before. So today, taking this opportunity, I'd like to share my thoughts on what it takes to create a new culture. There are 3 keywords: philosophy, team spirit, and challenge. I believe those 3 keywords are extremely important. First, as you saw in the video at the beginning, let me share my philosophy of Yassa-chan. So as you can see, Yassa-chan is very simple white rabbit character, but the name Yassa-usa stands for Yasashi Usagi, meaning tender rabbit. Yassa-usa in Japanese means tender rabbit. Rabbit that is tender. So the character has a concept of tenderness. People who look at this character want to feel tenderness and being considerate. And to live up with this concept, tenderness, I asked myself, what do we mean by tenderness? We often discuss this topic among the team members. Well, as a matter of fact, we have not reached a conclusion yet. We don't have the clear definition of tenderness. But there is something that we believe that is close to the concept or tenderness. First, I think you know Blue Hearts. That's a music band. And Mercy, I believe, has a solo album that is titled People Are in Different Circumstances. Well, people have different circumstances, people are in different circumstances. I think this has in-depth meaning. There are different kinds of people. Some people are in tough situation. Some people are really happy. So people are in different circumstances from the perspective of others. Well, if you disregard circumstances that people are in and just try to cheer them up, you are not really being considerate, or you're not really tender. So the song says that you have to support people behind the scene without directly saying so. I think that's really a good spirit. And there is another music band called Jagatara. And Akemi Edo of the band once said that you can dance as you like. You can dance with your own style. So I think this is similar to what the Blue Heart said. People are in different circumstances. So how you dance may be different from one to another. You can dance as you like. It's not about just dancing. How you perceive things, how you behave. Just be yourself. you can do as you like. That's how I interpret this message. And talking about Yassa-chan, I sometimes post illustration on SNS. So we interpret what the Blue Heart says and Jagata said, and then convert them into illustration and upload to SNS. I don't know if people can resonate with what we are trying to do. That's okay. You may not be able to convey your message to every person, but this is what we are thinking when we develop character or upload our illustration to SNS. And the second keyword is team spirit. Let me elaborate more on that. So if you look at YouTube ads, I often hear or see the word saying that make a living out of what you like. That's, I think, an ad that became really hot, so you may have heard of this YouTube or Twitter RD media that you can really show or demonstrate what you like, and I think they are growing. So individuals, anyone can upload contents without difficulties, and if you get popularity, you can monetize your content and make money, and you can make a living out of this.
And I think such situation is actually increasing, that you can monetize with what you like. And the people say now is the time, that time is for individuals. Maybe people say so now, and we have the time for individuals. That's maybe true. And I think there's a good reason to say that. But for us, maybe that's not exactly the way that we want that to be. It's true that anyone can create interesting content and upload. That's fine, and they can do that. But the content, it's not as easy to have the good quality, a certain good high quality and continuous basis. Maybe there's a limit that you can achieve with just the ability of individuals. And for example, the YouTube, which was one example I refer to as something that is a favorite thing by someone for a monetization, but actually the YouTube is also asking for some professional management team to run that. So we want to guarantee and to secure the professionalism. That's why that we have a team to work. When you try to create something in a team, there's something that you have to achieve, and particularly for us, the critical spirit is always very important. If you say that is okay and this is okay and that is fun, this is fun, it's like on SNS, and you love the people who only praise you. And if you just keep on accepting only the people who admire you, maybe you forget to make the things with the proper quality. And we want to make something that's very good. That means that we have to be aware of something that is not good. So if someone within ourselves or within the team was making that's not interesting, that's not very good in the content that he or she is making, we need to be frank in giving a frank comment. And that's the kind of the relationship that we want to keep with each other within the team. And of course, it's different at how we feel something's good or bad. And we want to keep the feelings within our team. And we want to raise ourselves and improve ourselves by doing so, and by having that kind of a relationship. And this is something that is also said in the comics. The editor is the very first reader of a comic, so editor should always be very frank about what he or she thinks about that comic made. And when somebody gives you a nice thing about what you have made, you need to be quite severe about whether that comment was appropriate or to the point or not. And that needs to be discussed within the team. And we need to continue to do so. And when there is some criticism, you may feel that you are criticized or you yourself was criticized. It's not that somebody doesn't like you or somebody was trying to make whole of you. So we should be frank about accepting as such a criticism as well. It's not an easy thing to get used to that, but I think that's something very important. And the third point, it's about challenge. But people often say that the challenge is very important. We take it granted for the fact that challenging something is always very important. But I want to repeat one more time. I think there was somebody from Kyocera, a famous management, a leader, a charismatic leader. I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly how she said, but he said, whatever you can, you try out or challenge. That was the word by him. Because you never know whether something will go successfully or not, so you need to try anyway. And that may turn out to be good, maybe not. And if that's not something that doesn't turn out to be a great success, then that's the time that you could quit. And about the Yassa-chan, a character, on Twitter and Instagram, we have about 50,000 readers who can enjoy this character. I think this number of the fans or the readers of 50,000 people, I think this is quite a good number. But it doesn't mean that we can just keep on doing whatever we have done in the past for the future in the same way. That's not the way that we should be. If we just keep on doing something exactly the same, I think we will hit the ceiling and reach the limit. And there is the risk of a mannerism. And we may end up making something that's not very fun. And for example, the Pikachu, the famous character in the Pokemon, depending on times, you may have noticed that the shape of a Pokemon is actually so different. And in the very beginning, Pokemon was much more fat. And now the Pokemon is much more slender. And the color is somewhat different from the initial time. So there's a need to change to match the time. Something that we have never done, some kind of the method, the ways of expressing something that we've never done, we need to try out. The very short animation that I showed you in the beginning of this session, it was about 6 seconds long. Actually, that motion picture animation was planned to be about 2 minutes long. We're still a small team. 3 of us work together in this very small team, but we actually did very hard, and we even hired some part-time workers, and we even had a lodging weekend. However, the 2-minute long animation movie was not a great success at all. And we decided that we're not able to announce this. We made a lot of effort, but we decided not to take it, unfortunately.
ものすごく残念だし、
And we were sorry. We were upset about the fact that we're not able to make the grade one.
それでもまあ
But
僕は
still,
実際にアニメに挑戦してみて、まあ良かった
I
な。
think it was a good thing that we tried out for making an animation movie. It was worthwhile.
また
So next
今回
time,
の反省を生かして
when there's a chance to
もっ
make
とうまく作れるようになる
animation,
んじゃないかなと
I
思
think
って
that
ます
will help us. This experience this
し、
time
アニ
will
メを作
help
るのが
us.
大変っていうのは、まあ耳にしたことは
And more than anything else, for the first time, we realized how difficult it is to make animation by us actually trying out
分かったことというか
to make that.
あこんな感
This
じ
is
なんだな
something that we learned for the first time.
これは本当にやってみなきゃ分かんなかったなっていうふうに思ってます。
So I really think that I was
ダメだったら
we
やめたらい
that
い
was worthwhile.
とりあえずやってみ
If it doesn't work,
ようっていうのを
if it doesn't work out,
大事に
you can quit it. This is the spirit that we keep within our team.
最後に
Finally,
スティングスが新しいカルチャーを作るために必要なこと
I want to summarize what we believe is necessary in what it takes to make a new creative culture.
必要なこと、まず一つ目
First of all, the first
哲
point,
学を持ったキャラクター、
we need to have a philosophy to be creative.
作ることでそれを仲間と批評し合いな
And
がら
once we have the philosophy, we need to keep the critical spirit to improve that, to make it even better.
行為自体を
And finally,
繰り返すように
just
挑
keep
戦
on
を続けていく
working
こと
and keep on
こ
walking
の3つが
to make that world we keep challenging. These 3 points are
前提
something
条件
that we need to keep within ourselves, and this should serve as the precondition and premise
今回この話を
in making something
話を聞い
creative.
て初めてYassa-chanを見たよ
Maybe there's someone who saw Yassa-chan for the first time in this session.
まあこれから先いろんなところでまあそれこそ SNS だったり
You see the characters that we make in the SNS or the line
あとは
stamp,
まあグッズも出しているので
or maybe some goods. Actually, we are marketing some goods as
そうい
well.
った形
And
で
maybe you see some people who are
目にする機会が
carrying these
あるんじゃないかな
characters.
と思うんです
And if that ever happens,
まあその時にまた
at that
その
time,
時スティングスの
if you remember some of the things that the president of
思
STINGS
い出して
said,
もらえると嬉しいかなと思います。
I'm very happy.
ご清聴ありがとうございました。
Thank you for attention. Thank you very much. This was Honda from STINGS.